Hey, Juan, welcome to Mesa Morning Live. Your first time here, and I can tell by your colorful shirt, you're with SRP.
That's right.
What do you do for SRP?
Well, I'm an engineer over at System Planning and Performance, and what we do there is actually we plan for our infrastructure, we plan for growth, we plan for smart grid type of movements at SRP.
Okay.
I've been there for, at SRP actually for almost a couple months will be my 10th year anniversary.
Seriously?
I'm serious.
Would you start like as a Boy Scout there?
No, I graduated college and first job and been there since.
Well, good for you. Well, you just look young, which is a gift. I, on the other hand, I'm 32. It's a curse. Well, tell us, I know you're here to talk a little bit about the smart grid. I don't even know what that means because I'm not smart. So tell us what's going on with SRP and what does that mean with the smart grid?
Yeah, well, I guess to start talking about the smart grid, we really want to know what the grid is. And really, the grid is all the infrastructure that brings us power to our home or business. So, and the smart grid really starts at the generating station, where we have generating stations generating power, and then bringing this power through transmission lines. And these transmission lines, actually, you guys also have a booklet there that as I'm talking, you guys are welcome to look at it and keep me honest too. So as we're going through, as I was describing the smart grid, it starts at the generating station and then goes through the power is then funneled through transmission lines. And these transmission lines then bring the power over to the valleys or towns. And then it starts to distribute with our distribution lines, which 80% of them we don't even see because they're underground. And these distribution lines connect all of us, all our businesses, all our homes are all connected through this grid. And you really, when we talk about smart grid now, we're not gonna really see any big difference in the grid. You're going to see the same power lines, you get the same power, same reliability. But what we're doing now is we're modernizing the grid. So there's a lot of buzz terms out there, such as smart grid, tomorrow's grid, the new economy grid. But really what it is the modernization of our existing grid.
Wow, that's got to be a huge project for SRP. How many customers do you have?
Well, actually, I do this every month. And last month we had, I think around 973,000 customers.
Wow.
So it's a lot of customers, and it's a big initiative at SRP. We like to think of it as an analogy of the cell phone. Like back in the day, we had our cell phones that just made calls. There was the flip phones that everyone thought they were cool, and now we watch our weather reports and then our Sunday football games, some of us can watch on our smartphones. So with the grid and what it's transforming into, we're going to be able to do a lot more stuff than we ever thought of. A lot of stuff that's being introduced as technology advances, a lot of new possibilities are coming up, and we're getting the grid ready for this new technology.
That's awesome. I just saw this. Speaking of wireless technology, here's a question here. Does SRP plan to do anything with solar roadways? This is great technology. I've seen the little Facebook thing.
I've seen that, but to be honest, that's not something that I'm aware of. Maybe even way in the distant future, but that's not something we're working on right now.
Have you seen the video? It looks like that's a huge, that would take like weeks to do something like that.
Probably not well, I'm at SRP, to be honest. That's how long things take to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As things modernize and get better, I briefly touched on the flooding that we had. Looking ahead for the improved smart grid, is that going to help with things like that, natural disasters?
Well, natural disasters and thunderstorms, such as our monsoon storms, we're still going to be, of course, we're still going to be going on here in our valley, impacting our valley, but a 1,000-year storm might be kind of tough. But when we talk about monsoon storms, with this new equipment that we're installing into our system, we're going to be able to restore customers a lot quicker and notify customers so that people can plan appropriately. People with small businesses that need to make the appropriate actions with their employees, or maybe make sure their produce don't go bad. And as well as residential, it's the same thing. I mean, you're going to be able to get notified on your smart devices or get a text on your cell phone if you have that set up, so that we can let you know and maybe check on your home. I don't know if people have alarms or other equipment that needs power constantly, but you'll be notified instantly. And if you guys have logged on to our website, not too long ago, we introduced a map where you can actually see outages in your area and impacting with forecast of restoration time. So all of that's going to be improved and more accurate.
I've got that technology through my phone that I can adjust the thermostat. What I do is I call my wife and I tell her I'm coming home. Could she please crank it down to 72? It's not as dependable as the SRP thing, no. Well, that's cool. So if you had a crystal ball, you're a young man about ready to celebrate 10 years. Yeah. 10 years out, what do you see happening with SRP and the provider for 1 million plus people in Mesa?
Yeah, most likely we'll be over 1 million, way over 1 million. As you guys probably seen, there's a lot of electric vehicles out on the road right now. Maybe 5 years ago, we would be lucky if we see one, maybe a Leaf or a Volt. Now we're getting a new wave of vehicles such as Teslas, which really are starting to challenge our electric grid. And also another thing is solar. The adoption of solar has skyrocketed in our area. So that's something that we need to work to know how to treat these new technologies. So these are the two major things that we see in the next 10 years, solar and the adoption of electric vehicles.
There's another quick question here from Scott Todd. Will you be able to offer Wi-Fi?
I couldn't tell you. We
Yes,
deliver,
you can tell us. Come on.
we deliver.
You're an engineer with 10 years of experience. Oh, you mean you don't know yet?
We deliver power and water.
Okay.
That's what SRP.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah. Well, no.
He's not just an engineer, he's customer service oriented. Okay, last question, I promise. You've done great so far. What are your energy sources and what percentage are green?
Well, that's a very, very good question. And to be honest, I don't know what our current renewable portfolio is at now. And I'm thinking it's somewhere at 12%. 12% renewable portfolio. So in the future, it's going to increase. But right now, we're at 12% renewable.
All right, that's great. Well, Juan, congratulations on the upcoming 10-year anniversary with SRP. How long has SRP been in business?
Well over 100 years.
Well over 100?
Well over 100 years.
You're going to just go with that? You don't have a number?
Maybe 102 or I would be my guess. 100.
Somebody Google that.
203
no, I'm kidding.
years.
No, that's awesome. Well, good for you. 111.
Wow.
Look at that. See, all the Mesa leadership people. Well, Juan, thanks so much for stopping by, and I'm sure we've got a lot of, those of folks at home watching on Channel 11, I'm sure there are a lot of happy SRP customers out there, and it's always great to meet people behind the scenes that make it all happen. So, Juan Cardona, thanks for stopping by.